The mode's been out for a couple of weeks now. It's not for everybody and won't change the BR scene completely, but it's a nice addition to the forever growing popular genre. It brings new features to the table, some nice additions, but also has some areas which they could have done better on. But as I've said in past videos, I see Battlefield 5 Firestorm as a beta to the next Battlefield release, and its BR mode, which will hopefully be a modern day setting. The real issue that BF1 and BF5 had was there wasn't much variety when it comes to customising weapons due to the time period. For myself and other Battlefield fans, one of the biggest draws to the Battlefield series is its vast selection of weapons and attachments that are versatile, adding a lot of replayability to the game. In Firestorm, it has rarities on things like weapons and equipment. Just like Fortnite, I'm not the biggest fan of this system, as I prefer finding attachments to better your weapons than it being down to chance. Also, one thing you will notice is there aren't many landmarks on the map. Any standout areas, it all seems very similar, plain and empty. I'm not sure if this was done intentionally, but it's definitely an area that can improve, in my opinion. Also, the other big stinger is the price range and not making it a standalone game. This tells me they aren't trying to compete with the likes of Apex, but more with the likes of Blackout, relying on their existing fanbase more than attracting new ones. They will draw new players to the Battlefield series, but it's not likely to draw their attention fully away from other games, as the mode just hasn't got enough meat to fill appetites. Also, it's not an easy game and takes practice, which a lot of players don't have time to do. The mode definitely has some legs, and a second map is due to drop in May, which already puts it ahead of other BR games out there. The mode will definitely quench the thirst of Battlefield fans who are partial to a BR mode, but won't draw in too many new players because of the price tag and with it not being a standalone game. I have noticed a lot of YouTubers are doing sponsored videos for Battlefield Firestorm the past few days, so I'm guessing EA are doing a drive for new players as initial sales were probably lower than expected. So to summarise, it's a good game with a lot of potential, but as with most games, time will tell. The more players that play Firestorm, the more time DICE will invest and update the mode. In 6 months' time, Firestorm could be a great standalone BR game, packed with content, enough to hold its own, and a nice addition to have in the genre, but it just needs more work to get in there. The more time I put in, the more I want to play, and the more I enjoy it. After you get the first few games and kills out of the way, and that damn this game is tough feel is gone, most first-person shooter fans will enjoy it. So my verdict would be to buy, or wait a few months and then buy. You can pick the game up for quite a reasonable price. I managed to pick up the Deluxe Edition for £16 brand new the other day, which is a bargain, especially as you get the base game as well. And before I go, I'm going to give my top 6 tips when starting out, just to give you a head start. 6. Armour. Don't forget about your armour. You land with one broken armour plate that needs swapping out as soon as possible. You can tell what state your armour is in by the small grey or blue bars above your health. 1 bar is basic armour, which is what you land with. 2 bars is medium, and 3 is heavy. If bars are grey, this means your armour plates are broken and need swapping out, with new plates found around the map, but if the bars are blue, this means they are still intact. Just make sure you are on the constant lookout for better armour, as they are quite easy to miss and take a few seconds of holding down the interact button before it actually applies. 5. Ammo. Get to know your ammo types as early as possible. There are 6 different types and it's easy to get confused which type you need. There's pistol, shotgun, SMG, rifle, MG and sniper. An easy way of telling you which weapon takes what ammo type is by hovering over the weapon in your inventory and it will highlight the ammo type needed. You can only hold a certain amount and it's way too easy to stock up on an ammo type you don't need, leaving you to click through your inventory in the open vulnerable, just trying to drop one type to collect another. I like to organise my inventory before setting off, so I've got available space in case I run past a case or loot I need. 4. Weapons. Just like ammo, get to know your weapons as well. There's quite a few different weapons in Firestorm, and it's hard to know which ones to play if you haven't invested too much time in the base game. As I said, like equipment, weapons have rarities, meaning green is common, blue is rare, and red is epic, being the rarest. Common weapons don't have any attachments or improved performance, but the rarer ones have things like sights and less recoil, and they get better the rarer they are. 3. Inventory. Get used to your inventory and how to navigate and drop items. The better you know your inventory will make looting a lot easier, and lessen those standstill moments out in the open trying to swap an item for another but end up dropping everything because you keep pressing the wrong button under pressure. 2. Jumping and parachuting. As I said at the start, there aren't many landmarks or buildings for that matter, meaning you are likely to run into other players more often than not when first landing. Depending on your playing style and where you land can determine how long you stay alive, but reaching those far out buildings can be a struggle. From door to door you can reach a distance of around 1,300 metres without having to pull early, as long as you look up as far as you can when diving. Also, it's good to take into account the closest point from the plane's line to the desired landing location, as this will help you get there faster, but be mindful if the location is around 1,300 metres, a player may have already dropped and landed before you get there. Also, if you are hot dropping, I like to try and leave a distance of 400 meters to 500 meters before diving straight down and pulling my parachute to take in account the parachute gliding distance before you hit the ground. 1. Equipment and gadgets. You can find random flare guns around the map which can either drop you off a vehicle, a supply drop, launch an artillery strike, a V1 rocket, or simply just highlight nearby enemies. One thing to remember that is they look a lot like pistols when on the floor and easy to miss. Strong boxes are scattered around the map which include all types of loot, and also look out for safes that contain rare loot but they do take some time to open. There are vehicle lockups scattered around the map which include high tier loot but they do take some time to open, plus it sounds a horn which nearby enemies can hear. Random supply drops will occur throughout a Firestorm match, delivered from a plane above and marked by a green flare which contain rare and powerful loot. And as a Firestorm closes in, supply points marked by the letters A and B at various points on the map may become active and can be located by the barrage balloons above. If you or your teammate can hold one of these points for long enough, you'll be rewarded with rare and epic weapons as well as reinforcements. Firestorm is different to other battle royales out there, and the biggest thing for me anyways is the destruction and large explosions, which really gives you those true battlefield moments in a BR game, which is a nice change. That's it for this video. As I said, it's a great mode different to what's already available, but just needs more meat on those bones to contend with all the other battle royales out there. Like if you like, comment and sub. I've been Rough Diamond. Catch you in another video soon. Laters.